So tenants are going to move into your property without paying a penny in rent. Imagine that, handing over the keys to your rental property to a tenant who hasn't actually paid a penny in rent. Doesn't that sound absolutely crazy? But this is one of the potential loopholes in the Renters' Rights Bill, highlighted by Knight Frank. Now, Knight Frank have hit all sorts of headlines by coming up with this loophole, but I've got a little bit of a workaround and I want to run that through with you guys in this video because I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as all of that. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon. We put out new content each and every week, all dedicated to keeping you on top of your property investing game. So like, comment and also subscribe. So the Renters' Rights Bill, of course, that's this dreaded Labour bill full of completely unnecessary nasties because, quite frankly, I think the Conservatives did this to death when they were in power, and these extra measures really don't do anything for renters' rights and probably do a lot to harm renters' rights by diminishing the amount of rental property that there is out there. But that's a whole other issue. So as with all these legislation, the devil's in the detail. It needs someone to read through it with a fine-tooth comb and come out with all the loopholes. But this is not a loophole, this is more an unintended consequence. And this is what Knight Frank has been banging on about. What they're saying is that the Renters' Rights Bill says that rent cannot be collected before a tenancy agreement is signed. So they want to do away with the practice which happens now, which is you basically pay and then you sign the tenancy agreement once the agent or landlord is in receipt of cleared funds. That's when you sign the agreement. So what Knight Frank are saying, of course, is that, well, the tenancy agreement can be signed and then they just move into the property and for some reason they haven't paid. But I think this is nonsense, really, because, okay, you can't take rent payment from the tenant until the tenancy agreement is signed. But there's nothing wrong with a fairly standard clause in the agreement which says, words to the effect of, this agreement shall take effect once the landlord or his agent is in receipt of cleared funds. And that's it. That just gets around the whole thing. And that's no different from standard contracts that you'll see in business. If I buy some product off someone, yes, I may sign a contract, but it'll always say in the contract that ownership of these goods, title for the ownership of these goods does not pass to the buyer until the seller is in receipt of full funds. It always has some wording of that effect. So a similar sort of wording could apply. And I can't see any circumstances where any sane landlord would sign agreement but hand over keys to the tenant without having received clear funds. What I do not understand for the life of me is why this anomaly or this change is required at all. What problem is it serving to fix? To me, it seems like a normal practice. A tenant views a property, they like it, they put down some kind of holding deposit, you go through referencing. If the referencing is all okay, then they pay the rest of the amount, you sign the contract, you give them the keys, they move in. It's a simple process. I don't see what's wrong with that process, that something needs fixing. I think there'll be a lot more of this to come, where all sorts of people will be seeking to gain some headline space by finding some so-called loophole in the rules. But this one, I don't know why it's drafted like this. I can't see what problem they're changing, but I don't see this leading to a scenario where tenants are just going to move in without paying rent. That's it for this video. Don't go away without subscribing and hitting that bell icon so you're notified when we release new videos. See you guys next time. The Baker Street Property Meet is the UK's largest and #1 property investors networking event. The property market is going through monumental change right now, and at Baker Street Property Meet we aim to keep you up to date with the latest tips and tricks and insider tactics to help you keep on top of your property investing game and succeed in these troubled economic times. The Baker Street Property Meet is fundamentally about networking, because it's not what you know, it's who you know. And at Baker Street we aim to connect you with the people to make your property journey a monumental success. There's no better place to be to further your property investment journey than the Baker Street Property Meet. So make sure you're here, you're connecting with myself and Andrew Roberts, our expert guest speakers and 300 passionate property people each and every month. See you at the next meet. Get your spot at bakerstreetpropertymeet.com.